Hi everybody, we're all right. Tier 3. Lovely to have you with me. My kettle has just boiled. So the rain's come, which is not good. I think sun was the weekend. Just over to you. And we're going to talk about networking today. So that's good. So chocolate digestive, Britain's favourite biscuit, chocolate digestive. You probably remember that from an earlier session. Which brings me to the question today, actually. A few people on the question today is the chocolate digestive is Britain's favourite biscuit, but what is Britain's favourite tea? So what is Britain's favourite tea? So what brand is Britain's favourite tea? So just type your answer in there. And I've got to be honest, quite surprising. So what's Britain's favourite tea? Anybody wants to, where's everybody going? Everybody's leaving me. Come back and type in what your favourite tea is, or what Britain's favourite tea is. So what's Britain's favourite tea? What we got? Is anybody there today? Don't be afraid, talk to me. Oh, you're coming back. Britain's favourite tea. What's anybody got? Just going to squeeze my tea bag. It's just started raining here again. It's not good. Nobody's talking to me today. English breakfast. I'm looking, it's very good, Paul, but I'm looking for a specific, the brand. We're going to do a bit of free advertising. Possibly Crofty's most sensible suggestion on the questions. Earl Grey, Britain's favourite tea bag. Even if it was, it's the make I'm after. So it's the make of tea bag. Britain's biggest selling brand of tea. Britain's biggest selling brand. Oh, that's Yorkshire then. Typical. So there we go. So anyway, so we've got Yorkshire, Earl Grey, Yorkshire again. So what's favourite tea? To go with your favourite tea? PG Tips. Well, PG Tips Earl Grey is that part. Sorry, that Earl Grey is probably your favourite, of course. But PG Tips, please. Right, we're going to talk about networking. It's all very lovely. So we're going to talk about networking. We're going to talk about kind of what it is, why we think we should do it. And I'll give you a few tips, just from the very simple to maybe better not be this. Rightio. So firstly, networking. What is it? It's kind of getting a bit of reach, getting to be known. You know, in these times when we're all strapped and at home and things like that, it's about who can we go to seek advice. So broadening your network so as you can grow personally and professionally. So what it isn't about schmoozing. It's not just like just doing stuff and thinking you're going to get that, you know, if I just do somebody, you know, if I go out to my network, I can just get loads of stuff. That's not what networking is. It's a two-way street. So my first big tip is network. Set some time aside to network. That's the big thing. And a really big thing that you probably will have heard about before, but I do want to just cover it here, is about an elevator pitch. Everybody's kind of heard that phrase. What's an elevator pitch? You know, if I'm stuck in a lift with somebody for 30 seconds who I've never met before, what can I kind of do? So a couple of things. I'm going to break it down into four key things that I think makes up a good elevator pitch. So firstly, who you are. So your name is the obvious thing, but who you are. So put that in. So hi, nice to meet you. My name is, yeah. The second thing is what you do. And with this, a friend of mine was a PA to a senior official in an organisation. But what happened, what she always did was described herself as just a secretary. So we've got to do better than that. That's not what we want to do. So don't just get into just things like, oh yeah, I'm a trainer. It could be something along, I help people reach their best business potential. Something along those lines. So, but what you do. The second part of that is what's your USP? What makes you different? Because what we all do, unless we're really fortunate, somebody else is doing our job as well. So what's the USP that you've got that makes you different? You know, that could be, for me, how I maybe use stories or games or personal experience to bring those learnings to life. That would be one of the things. And the last thing is ask the person a question. I'm asked a question. So for me, that would be, you know, can I ask how learning is currently undertaken in your organisation? something along those lines. So those 4 things: who you are, what you do, what makes you different, and then finish with a question. So nice and simple. Now your network's broken down 2 bits, and it's like a process. So we have to think about it in these areas. Firstly, who you know, who do you already know, and how can you network with those people? And the second part of it is, who do you need to get to know, and how can you go about getting them? So that's the first kind of bits of networking, really. So do it, elevate a pitch, and make it a plan, make it a process. Consciously network, so full time in your diary, that kind of thing. Now I'll move on now to like an event. We all go to events, whether they're exhibitions or they're set up networking events, something along those lines. But how do we network? So some simple tips. If there's like drinks and buffets involved, a good place to meet people is as they come away from the bar. So if they've got a drink, then they're probably ready to converse. So not on the way in. Secondly, though, with the food, don't catch them as they leave the food, because often they're going to have a plate and a drink, and they're going to go back to the people they were with. So with the bar, it's a little bit easier to talk. You can talk to people in line if you're on your own, that kind of thing. I know they're a bit old school now, but still there's people with business cards. So if you've got a business card, carry your business cards, give them out. When you do get them, I saw this done, I thought it was a really great tip. Somebody said, just write some details on the back of people's business cards. I know more and more we're using virtual business cards. But if you're one of those people who still has them, then just jot down on the back some interesting details about the person you've met. So when you network back, you can pick up on them. You meet that person and they give you their name, because the name is the first thing we'll respond to. So make sure you get their name. When you hear their name, repeat it back to them. So say the name out loud to them, and you'll start associating their face with that name. When you're introducing yourself, use the James Bond technique, but rather than saying Bond, James Bond, say my name's Ian Caldecott. So you repeat your name. So you say that twice, it's more likely to stick. So the business cards and meeting people, very important. If you are at an event, again, this was a tip that was given to me quite a long while ago, actually, but sometimes you get like a name badge or something like that, and sometimes you have to write your own name badge. If you do have to do that, look around the room before you write it and make sure you're matching the same that everybody else is writing. Otherwise, you write your whole name and your job description, and everyone else has got like Tom written on it. So, well, not everybody, because I might not be called Tom, obviously. Anyway, so that's just a little tip. Now, what else can we do? Well, I kind of say when you meet people, a lot of it's going to be about things like the body language, about how we meet and interact with those people the first time we see them. If you can catch up with a TED Talk by a guy called Mark Bowden, it's very useful, Bowden. It talks about how we can impact on people we first meet with them. It's just about 17 minutes long, well worth a watch, Mark Bowden. But his 3 big things are smile genuinely, don't flash a smile. The smile has to build and be held. But if we flash a smile, it can kind of put people off. Second thing is a little eyebrow raise. Will encourage people. It says, I know you, I like you, I recognize you. So smile, eyebrow flash. And then thirdly, keep your hands open, open palms. Old tips, but Bowden demonstrates it beautifully on his video. So I'd strongly recommend if you can take that up. If you're at one of these events, if you're that little bit cautious, then don't be afraid to have a wingman with you. So take someone with you, maybe go in a pair. And if you don't, and if you're stranded or you're not quite sure what to do, just go to that person you've gone with, and then maybe sometimes it's easier to hunt in a pair. Once you meet people at such an event, make sure you do kind of follow up. Now, any event, often what happens is our email inbox then gets filled up with a variety of emails. So if you've taken information, if you've made notes, if you've jotted things down on the back of business cards, make sure you follow up with a worthwhile question, a personal note in the email, rather than it was great to meet you last Tuesday. So, make sure it's personal so people feel like it's sincere and I'm not just doing something. Think about how you can network. Everybody's on LinkedIn. If you want to be known as a networker, you have to push stuff out to receive back. So if you want to network and broaden it, Don't be afraid to put things out there. They can just be ideas, your thoughts, anything along those lines. But recognize you have to put stuff out to get stuff back in, and that is important. If there's something that you're passionate about, don't be afraid to talk about that when you meet people. And that doesn't have to be professional, that can be personal. Once we start talking about things that we're passionate in, our voices change, they get more excited, they're more believable, and people want to hear more from us. So talk about your passions, because you never know, somebody else might have a similar passion, and that will broaden your network as well. So personally and professionally. Give yourself a target, say every month. So I'm going to speak to, let's say, 2, 3, 4 new people this month. That's what I'm going to do. And we can do it internally. So we can network internally. If you work in a bigger organization, think about how you network with the people you have. I know my organization has a host of offices, and I hear a lot of times people say, I don't know half these people. So if you're cautious, if you're not comfortable with it, network internally to start with. That's a good way to try out some techniques, just to find things out, let people know who you are, all of those things. So network internally just to start. Lots of people don't like it. Lots of people don't like networking. That's not what I'm made up of. I'm not an extrovert. I don't like meeting new people. So recognize that some of the people that you're meeting are probably feeling exactly the same as you. So just to think, just to end here, you're not the only person who sometimes maybe struggles a little bit with networking. And secondly, when you do meet people, recognize as well that some people will network well, and some people you might never hear from again. That's not rejection. That's just the same as you don't marry everybody you meet. You know, that it's about finding the right match and that kind of thing. So take time to think about, okay, I'm going to have to throw my net out quite wide to get a haul in here. Yeah. But it's, remember, give and take. If you've just got people taking off of you, we quickly see they're not good networkers. They're just people hungry for your knowledge. Okay, so there's just some little tips on networking. What we're going to do on Thursday, I'm going to talk about something that's linked directly with networking, which is a little bit about personal branding, about who you are, what you look like, and how you're recognized. Do you have a strong brand? You know, if you think about that before we get to Thursday, think about somebody you know with a strong brand. What is it they do? And finally, what is the best-selling tea brand in the UK? Now, this is as of 2019, so I don't have the 2020 figures. But I've got to be honest, it really surprised me when I read this. And it better not be Tetley's. It's not Tetley's. The biggest-selling tea brand in the UK, 2019, Twinings. So there you go. That really did surprise me, but it took over from PG Tips. The Twinings, currently the biggest-selling tea brand. Thanks for joining me today. Hope to see you Thursday when we'll talk about personal branding. Thanks very much for your time today. Have a great day, and I hope the rain stops for you soon.